Hey guys, welcome back. Today we discuss Wakanda Forever. Wakanda Forever is one of those films that had so much potential and yet, because of a couple of major missteps, fell short of the kind of success it could have had. Keep in mind, the original had fans buying up entire theaters. Stores were running out of merchandise. It was truly a cultural phenomenon. This film, though, seems out of step with the legacy of the first, and for that matter, out of step with the universe in which it's set and the larger story that should be being told. For one, it opens with T'Challa's death and funeral. Though deeply emotional, many fans feel that having him die of illness robbed the character of his strength and honor and dignity as a warrior. And he's not the only one. Throughout the film, the male characters who were so integral to the first film and what was set up as a pretty egalitarian society take a back seat, with M'Baku present as an occasional advisor, but largely ignored or just there for comic relief. The manner of T'Challa's death also felt like a missed opportunity, especially in terms of the overall story. The film does a poor job of setting Namor and his people and the Wakandans at odds, because Namor's race is so overpowered compared to the Wakandans, who are remarkably underpowered here. Their conflict feels contrived. Namor's entire motivation is to force them into an alliance, and yet he doesn't need them, as he's shown to be entirely capable of destroying the small nation single-handedly. Now, had he been the one to kill T'Challa in a fight, even off screen, it would have provided a more realistic motivation for the war and set up a David versus Goliath story, with Wakandans being the ones we cheer for, taking on the much more powerful empire, not for vengeance, but for justice and for survival. The United Nations, then, instead of being presented as senselessly antagonistic under circumstances where they are obviously much weaker than either of the nations at war, could have been the ones to negotiate a shaky truce by the end, with Ross taking the lead. This agent, who otherwise serves absolutely no purpose in the story, might actually have played a major role in avoiding further conflict and saving the very people who saved his life in the last film. Someone else who should have been brought in to aid the conflict was the Winter Soldier himself. Bucky owes his life to Wakanda, and he became good friends of the people there, T'Challa and Ayo in particular. There's no way he would have missed the funeral or the fight to defend the land he for a time called home. God forbid you have a white knight, a literal white knight, come in and save the princess. Lastly, for as much as was made of Riri Williams' appearance in this film, she too was given little of anything to do besides display her Power Ranger version of the Iron Man suit. What would have made so much more sense would have been to have her recruited by the Wakandans, which is what she assumes is happening even in the film. And after being mentored under their supervision and leadership and developing her skill with their technology, she could have come in clutch with a more impressive suit, and they could have made her fight with Namoria much more interesting. And that brings me to the main stars. I did enjoy Letitia Wright's Shuri. Her pleasant presence was reminiscent of her bubbly appearance in the original film. Her humor, her compassion, especially her diplomatic efforts with Namor, were great. I think she would have made a fine queen, but she shouldn't have been the Black Panther. I appreciated her faith journey from a tech-obsessed atheist to a believer. However, they gave her a Killmonger arc to drive her into the suit, and yet much of it felt repetitious and inauthentic to her character and the story she's in. They tried to make her this bloodthirsty, vengeful person, but without proper foundation, at least prior to her mother's death. And even after, the quick reconciliation with her murderer, Namor, felt forced, far removed from what anyone in her situation would do. Now, Angela Bassett shined in this film, as did Lupita Nyong'o, and I love seeing Wakanda itself again. But even the regal performances of these ladies and beautiful cinematography and score couldn't save a film that felt largely sluggish and incoherent for much of the first two acts. Namor was a confusing mess with nonsensical goals and cringe dialogue. And I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but he comes across as a psychopath for most of the time. Not anyone who can be reasoned with, let alone allowed to live. And because of the emphasis throughout the film on the loss of T'Challa, it would have probably done better as a short tribute special on a streaming service than a full feature film. Nobody wants to rewatch a 3-hour goodbye. If you love the Black Panther, stick with his original film appearances and hope for the best in the future. But hey, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.